Benson Chidindu says, I'm so excited. Emmanuel Musa, I'm definitely excited. That's wonderful. So, introducing to you our first facilitator for the day. Our first facilitator for today is Ruth Benson. Ruth is a dynamic entrepreneur, educator, tech enthusiast, and graphic designer from Abia State, Nigeria. Passionate about empowering the next generation of African leaders, she blends innovation, mentorship, and design to equip young people, especially girls, with the skills and confidence they need to thrive in today's world. With a degree in business education, Ruth's journey is deeply rooted in community development and inclusive leadership. Her work spans across environment and youth advocacy, creating safe and creative space for children and teenagers to learn, grow, and lead with purpose. Currently serving as the secretary of the Organization for Impact and Reforms and is the director of creativity and inclusion for Progressive Abia Youth, a progressive platform advancing youth leadership, innovation, and inclusive participation in policy and civic spaces. She's the of the Powership Africa Fellowship, serving actively in the media and advocacy where she's contributing her quota for better Nigeria. So, ladies and gentlemen, gentlewomen, and men in the group, can we give an appreciation as I welcome our first facilitator for the day in the person of Ruth Benson? So, thank you, Ruth Benson. Over to you.
All right, good evening. Thank
Welcome.
you for that wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
evening. Good evening, amazing change makers. I'm super excited personally to be here. First, I want to say a big thank you to Power Shifts generally, and especially to our leader, Mr. Nonso. Please, let's celebrate Mr. Nonso. He's a blessing to our generation. Please, let's just take 1 minute to celebrate our leader. All right, thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here tonight. Like she earlier mentioned, I'm a proud fellow of this prestigious organization. Super proud of that, as a matter. So tonight we are going to be talking about something not too far from what we're hearing. I'm sure we've heard the word. It's not something strange. We'll be diving into this topic that shapes nation, that shifts culture, and spark revolution: activism. Today, we're not just talking about holding placards, marching on the streets. No. We are talking about the heartbeat of social change, the voice that says enough is enough, the courage to rise, speak up, stand firm when injustice thrives. We're talking about the word activism. So in 1 minute, I want this class to be as interactive as possible. So when you hear the word activism, what comes to your mind? Like, what the first thing that comes to your mind? I want to see your, let me hear your answers at the chat box. And I'm going to point 1 or 2 persons to just say something. When you hear activism, what comes to your mind? Okay, I'm supposed to see a lot of answers here, like in the chat box. Okay, somebody said, Mohammed said change. Okay, mind you, there are no wrong answers. I'm supposed to see a lot of answers here. Okay. I would have loved us to do it on the chat box because of time, but let me just appoint. I think I'm seeing Fortune's hand. Fortune, just pick up for the next 1 minute so we can run from here. I have just 35 minutes so we can maximize it. All right.
Okay,
First,
when I hear the word, yeah, when I hear the word activism, what comes to my mind personally is being proactive, dealing up with like doing things before the real issue arises, or taking steps that actually prevents issues from arising, or trying to stop that issue when it has arisen. Thank you.
all right. Thank you very much. I heard Esther said demanding for change. Sorry, I might not pronounce the first word. Henry said the first thing that comes to my mind is influencing change from the status quo. All right, we are all correct, actually. We are all correct. And a lot of scholars and authors defined activism in their own way. But here, I'm going to just give a general definition of what I think activism is generally. All right. So activism is the deliberate and sustained effort to challenge injustice, inspire change, and build a more just, inclusive, and equitable society through thoughts, voice, action, and influence. The goals, protest, politics, at its core, activism is a lifestyle. It's a lot of
Correct.
where an individual or group identifies a problem and commits to doing something big or small. It's something big or it's about doing something. So I want at the end of this course, we should be able to understand the history and evolution of activism globally and in Africa, identify various forms and purposes of activism, reflect on personal motivations for becoming change makers, recognize how activism shape and policies change. All right. So, let's think about some powerful voices, like the great Martin Luther King Jr., who dared to dream of racial equity in America, the likes of Fumula Kuti, the mother of India, fighting colonial roles and championing women's rights. And also Aisha Yusuf, our own Aisha Yusuf, who stood bold and fair during the end protests. I'm sure some of us know Aisha Yusuf. I got to know her Yusufu during the NSAS protest. That's when I started seeing her, because she came out and she stood up doing that. For a lot of the time I started seeing her. All right. So quick one, I would really like us to really participate on this. So it's going to be as interactive as possible with the very short time I have. So secondly, we have to know the forms of activism. Activism have different forms, like in our learning outcomes, we're going to discuss the forms, purpose, and all of that. So there are different forms to activism. All right, please, who is on this? Who is projecting? Please, the next slide. All right.
Well,
Yeah, forms of activism. We have different forms of activism. We have the protest and the demonstration. This is the one we are familiar with, where we go out most times. It's the most visible form of activism, where people gather physically to show and demand for change, just like the NSAS protest, where most Nigerian youths came out to demand for change. All right. And the impact of protest and demonstration activism, it draws public and media attention to issues, and most times it pressures policymakers, because when you come out like that, they tend to feel the impact more, just like we saw during the NSAS protest. A lot of Nigerian youths came out from different walks of life in different states. They all came out to protest and demand for change. Another form of activism here is digital and online. Just like most of us are keyboard ninjas, where we use our digital platforms like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok to raise awareness, mobilize and support and organize campaigns. This is the one most of us do, where we just use our social media platform, and we are really high on this because with media, we reach a wider audience quickly, and it empowers youth and builds this global solidarity. Just like there's one we had, I think it was it the Black Lives Matters. During that time, a black guy was killed in America, where there was this online protest. There was this online protest where it was mostly online. And then there was this guy, musician that died. I think is it Mohbad or something? There was, during that time, there was this hashtag, justice for Mohbad, justice for Mohbad. I think some of us were, I think it was last 2 or last 3 years, where we use our digital platform. Well, it was high on Twitter, I guess. It was more on Twitter, where most celebrities, most people were justice for Mohbad after he died. I don't have a full story of that, so I can't say much. Yeah, that is for online and digital or digital activism. Another form of activism is educational activism, where we use education and informal sharing as tools to inspire actions or dismantle misinformation. Just like we go to schools to do teaching, when we go to schools to do civic literacy, we teach those young ones what they need to know, what they need to do. Just general, most times we go to school, we create clubs, like there's this SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, I think. Yeah, where students are being taught on things, on where their minds are being built. They're being taught a whole lot, mostly on civic education. This brings long-term understanding and empowers people with knowledge to take action, where we charge the young minds on what and how to do, and on what to do and how to do it. Next on our list is legal and policy advocacy. This is where we challenge the law. We challenge the law, influence policy through legal system by drafting policy. Most times you see where we write petitions. Where lawyers mostly, there's one of these, there's where they campaign for electoral laws and reviews. All right, where we campaign for proposals and all of that, like trying to change policies and bring more. Hello, if you can hear me, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. I want to be sure I'm not alone on this call. All right, I was talking about legal and policy advocacy, activism, where we challenge laws or influence public policies through legal systems. This creates lasting system that change within the institutions, because most times we write petitions and the likes of it. Another form of activism is the community or grassroots organizing. This is where we work directly with communities to identify issues, build leadership, and develop collective solutions. This kind of activism empowers marginalized groups, just like in our local communities, and build movement from the ground up. This is where most communities get empowered. This is a kind of activity. This is a kind of campaign that is mostly done in our communities, in our local communities, where a particular issue is being identified, and you build leadership and then develop solution collectively. All right. Then another form of activism is the faith-based. This is the one. This kind of activism is usually done in a religious environment, where we use our spiritual or religious platforms to speak out against injustice, promote social change, just like maybe the pastor or the imam advocates against corruption. Yeah, maybe one of our religious leaders, those persons that have the platforms, advocate for corruption, maybe they do interfaith peace campaigns and all of that. This kind of campaigns leverage trust and influence religious institutions to mobilize people morally and socially. Another form of activism is the media and journalism. It's media, journalism, and storytelling. This is a kind of campaign we do whereby we write articles, blog, just like we see on social media, stories to expose truth, amplify unheard voices. All right, just like there's one person that does that very well, my favorite writer, Chimamanda. She does that a lot because she's a feminist. She uses that for her feminism narrative, right? She does a lot of storytelling, writings, and documentaries. This kind of activism shapes public opinion and it creates visibility for critical issues. Just like I used Chimamanda, she's really high on cultural inclusion and then feminism. All right, it changed public opinion. One of the major things she did that I really liked was when one of her stories she told about her name. It made me become more proud of my name as an Igbo lady. Initially, growing up in a society where most people struggle to talk about to speak, to call your names, and we really feel shy to use our names. But listening to her a lot helped me. I just allow people to try, and with that, she changed my mindset about that a lot. All right, I'm not trying to throw more light on that. And then, yeah, next on our list we have the purpose of activism. All right, we don't just do it for doing sake. All right, activism is done to challenge the status quo, to make change. It's not just to speak up because we want to speak or because we have the platform. All right, it's because we want to change the status quo. We want to change a narrative. We want to change an opinion. All right, so there are major purposes of activism. First is creating awareness to inform the public about pressing issues they may be unaware of, such as maybe I got to know about this genital mutilation on one of these campaigns they do about ladies, gender-based violence, climate injustice, corruption, and or maybe voter suppression. All right, this is one of the purpose of activism because it is not just to do it. There is a particular reason, there is a goal to it. All right. Secondly, is to demand accountability. All right, to hold our leaders accountable, to hold the government, the corporation, the institutions, the leaders accountable for their actions or policies. All right, most of our activists, like for what's this guy's name? VDM, very dark man. I'm sure most of us are really familiar with him. Most of his campaign is mostly on holding people accountable, leaders accountable, right? You have to, because if we don't, most times, most of our campaigns, why it just goes down the drain, because most people don't come out with a purpose. They just want to come out with so they can hear them and see them. But one of the major purposes of activism is to demand accountability from our leaders, to question their actions and their policy, to ask them for accountability. All right. Another purpose of activism is influence policies and laws, to push for the creation, amendments, or repeal of laws or policies that affect people's life. All right. There are some policies that affect people negatively. So we come out most times, another reason for activism is to do what? To correct it, to amend laws, to correct some policies that affect people negatively, just like the education reforms and the child right law. Right, those are policies that affect people's life. So these are one of the reasons why people come out to campaign and to speak up. Another one is to amplify marginalized voices, to give the platform to those whose stories are silenced or ignored, just like maybe like people living with disabilities, the poor. I don't want to mention women, but let me just say women. All right. So these are to bring people to sorry, this platform as for those whose voices are silenced, because most times persons living with disability are mostly not, their voices are mostly not heard in the society, and then the poor ones who tend to suffer more. All right. Then another one is to inspire hope and action. I think that's the last one. This one of the major reasons for activism is to inspire hope, not just to complain, but to act and believe that change is possible through shared effort. All right. So please, all right. So now, with all this, here is what we can start doing today. You can define your cause. What is that what is that issue that matters to you? That thing that matters to you, define your cause. That thing that whenever you see it, it makes your skin crawl, you get really angry. It makes you cringe, like you get really angry. Is it the educational system? Is it climate? Is it governance? Is it gender equality? Just pick one and own it. It's not about picking it. You pick it and you own it. All right. Start small, start local, start anywhere. Look around your community. What injustice can you change? What group can you support? Activism starts with one step. You just have to start somewhere. All right. You have to show up. You have to start somewhere. All right. Another one is to speak up. You share and you show up. If you look at most famous activists we have, they don't just sit and type, like I use the word keyboard ninjas. Most of them show up. As an activist, you must show up. You have to show up. All right. You have to be available. They have to see you. You have to use your social media account. You have to go to schools, your church, your community halls, because your voice is your power. You just can't hide it. You have to speak up. You have to share. You have to show up. And another important thing you need to do is to connect with others. All right. Join a movement, form a group, collaborate with fellow change makers here. All right. When we collaborate, there's something collaboration does. It amplifies our voices. It makes you stronger. All right. Just like there's this example where we're being kids, they say you can easily break one broom, but when you tie a bunch of broom, you can't easily break it. You can bend it, but you can't break it. All right. And lastly, you have to keep learning. Activism is a journey. You have to keep learning. You have to have a full background knowledge of whatever you are campaigning for, whatever you are advocating for, whatever you are campaigning for. Make sure you keep learning about that. You can't just show up as a novice. So that whenever you are being asked a question, you can answer, you know what you are doing. It gives you a better, when you're coming from a place of knowledge, it gives you a better background of what you are doing. All right. And again, activism is not so easy. It might sound really sweet. There are ethics and risks to activism. When I mean show up, a lot of activists that lost their lives in the process. So you have to always verify facts before sharing. You have to always verify facts before sharing. All right. Respect the dignity of those you represent, because you're representing a particular people. All right. So you have to respect the dignity of those persons you present. Avoid performative activism. Some persons are good with talking, but they don't act. So when you talk, you act, you do both. You show up, you speak up. You don't just speak up, you do both. Or that is, when you do performative activism, you only talk. Then keep your safety and legal boundaries. So we are bound by law. Be sure you're not overstepping your boundaries, all right? Because if you are found guilty, the law is not emotional. If you are found guilty, you face the law. So, and let's also be aware of this. Emotional burnout is real, all right? So it's not really easy. Most times you have to do a lot of talking and talking and talking. you can be emotionally burnt out. So let's be aware of that. So prioritize rest and community. When you have a community, it helps you, it gives strength. You don't easily get burnt out. All right. Lastly, the world does not change by watching it. It changes when you rise to speak, stand, and act. All right. So, okay, right, good. This is an infographic showing countries with high activism and low activism. All right. If you can just use 1 minute and just look at it, let me just hear from what do you see from here? What can you see? What did you notice from this chart? Can you put it on a chat box? What did you see? What can you notice? Just read it through. The one with green is high activism countries, and the one on red is low activism countries. This is a development outcome. This is an outcome. All right. So what do you just put on a chat box? I mean, there may not be time for you to talk. I'm trying to rush so I can beat time because we can have time for our questions. So what do you see from this chart in 1 minute? Just type it on the chat box. All right. So let me just help you. We can see that from the outcome area, economic development, you see that countries with high activism is high, like 82%. Why do the countries with low activism is like 50%? Because activism boosts transparency. All right. When you come out and demand for accountability, it boosts transparency. Just like for others, you see social equity, inclusion, civic awareness, engagement. So we all have to come out and say something. You don't have to do everything, but you have to do something. All right. You can't do everything. We know that we can't do everything, but you have to do something. You are a part of a generation that the world needs desperately. Not in the future, but now. All right. So whether you're tweeting, you're teaching, you're protesting, you're writing, or anything, just do something. All right. Make sure you are doing something. All right. So be bold, be informed, be a voice, be the change. All right. It's not really easy, but you have to be consistent. Always show up, always say it. Just say it. And with time, change will come. Let's have it at the back of our mind that our life begins to end the day we become silent about the things that matters. That is from Martin Luther King Jr. All right. So your life begins to end the day we become silent. When we see something and we don't say it and we don't act on it, your life begins to end that particular day. And again, the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Most people think they can't do anything, but trust me, you have all the power in the world. You have all the power in the world. I can assure you, you have all the power in the world. So thank you very much for this section. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So these are a few pictures of famous activism. We have, this is Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., Mahatma Gandhi. This is Aisha Yusufu, Chimamanda Adichie, Fela. We have Very Dark Man, Malcolm X, and Patra Lume. So you can add up, there are more on the list, and you can still be one of them. Just lend your voices, just do something, no matter how small. Come out and do something. Thank you very much, Mobu, for your questions. You can put on the chat box. Maybe you indicate by raising up your hand so I can maybe 1 or 2 persons to ask the questions if you have any questions. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm super grateful. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm seeing somebody's hands. Oh, Jesus. So I think it's Henry. Or is it okay? Messi. Okay, Henry, please. I think I saw
Sorry.
Henry.
Well done so much for that wonderful presentation, Ma. We have Henry's hand was up, and we also, I think the next person was Shamsuddin.
Okay.
Then Benson, Mercy.
I'm saying Fahad Aliyu Mohammed.
Yeah, so can we go with Henry first? I believe he was the first to raise his hand.
All right, Henry, please can you unmute and speak?
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. My question is, I don't know, is there a difference between an activist and a nationalist? Thank you. I want to know if there is any difference between the two, or their activities is the same. Thank you.
You said difference. Is there a difference between an activist and a nationalist, right?
Yes,
Henry.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's noted. Please, the next person.
Okay, please can we have Shamsuddin? Shamsuddin, you can ask your question.
Good evening to all. Hello.
Hi, good evening. We can hear you. Ask your question, please.
Okay, my name is Shamsuddin Abubakar Usman, member of Group 2. I always engage in education, which is always lively and commendable. I have two questions, Mark. Firstly, when it comes to activism, especially human rights activism or political activism, at times it has to do with threats and activists from the men of power. This makes many young generations to lag behind activism so that they cannot fall on top of anybody. My question here is that, Ma, how can an activist develop a courage while undergoing an activity or a movement? My second question is that, is there any quality that an activist adopts while undergoing a
Um,
movement?
sorry, I'm not hearing you, Shamsuddin. I'm not hearing you. Please, can you move from that area so we can hear you clearly?
Okay.
Okay. Hello, to make it better,
I did
Shamsuddin, please can you use the chat box? Ask your question
hear you.
there.
Please. Okay, so let me attend to Henry's question. Um, all right. Henry's question is there a difference between an activist and a nationalist? Yes, there is difference. An activist is an individual who actively campaigns for social, political or environmental change, while a nationalist is an individual who prioritizes the interest and identity of the nation or an ethnic group. Did you get that? So, or an activist is someone who focuses on a specific issue, such as human rights, equality, or climate change, or may work within existing system or change or challenge them through protests, advocacies, and all of that. But a nationalist is someone that nationalists may emphasize on national sovereignty, cultural heritage, or self-determination. It can range from patriotic and civic-minded to sorry,
Hello,
sorry. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Um, a nationalist is somebody that promotes national issues generally, like cultural heritage and self-determination. That is who a nationalist is, and it's totally different from an activist. All right. Did you get that?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
All right. I
I,
didn't get Sam Shudi's question. Please, can you? Okay, have you typed it on the chat? Okay, let me see. How can activists develop courage and undergo an activity? Uh, please ask your question the next
Hello?
while I read.
My own is not directly a question. It's a kind of clue for those of you that I don't know, of course, that have had most of this evening. But
Can you hear
let's
me?
see. Training.
Um,
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Amina, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, good. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I want
Can I
to
go ahead with the
suggest
question?
that it's
Yeah,
Someone
please
already
go ahead
time.
while I
your voice is
look
too
at
much.
the question.
Hello, can you hear me? So thank you so much. It's already time for our next session. If you have questions, just let's just give time for the next presenter, please, and then we can just drop your question in the chat box and we'll answer after all the presentations. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Ma, for that enlightening session. You've set the tone perfectly for this fellowship, reminding us that activism is not just about protest, it's about purpose, passion, and persistence. So, fellows, I hope you are taking notes not just on paper but in your heart. This is how the movement begins, so, with knowledge and courage. And let's give our presenter a round of virtual applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So right now,
Amina,
thank you. Hello.
don't worry, let me just put it on the chat box.
Please, can someone mute that person? Allah, please, someone should mute him.
Hello, please, the host of this event should mute all of us, please. Lots of distractions, please. We should all be muted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So it's about time I welcome our second facilitator for the day. If you have any question, just drop it in the chat box. Are we ready for our second facilitator? Yay! Okay.